Today, we're doing a review of the all-new Bellroy Transit Sling 5-liter. In this review, I'm gonna take my experience of reviewing 500 of the world's best bags, and we're gonna tear this thing apart. We're gonna pack it out, we're gonna discuss the honest pros and the cons, and if at any point in this video there's a con that makes you think, it's not the sling for you, don't worry, you can skip to the end, and I'm gonna make some alternative sling recommendations that might be a bit more up your alley. All right, let's talk about the gist of the Bellroy Transit Sling 5-liter. If you don't know, Bellroy is an Australian company, and they are known for doing a lot of things really well. But one thing they could do the absolute best is making slings. Their bags, great, sometimes a hit or a miss. Their wallets, same thing. They do a lot of cool, watch straps and phone cases, but their slings, freaking chef's kiss, world class, mostly. And there's a lot of chatter online of this is going to join the upper echelon of slings that Bellroy has also made, like the Venture Ready 2.5 liter and their classic sling. So let's talk about some of this bad boy's top features. We got a super clean front panel, a front zippered pocket with a gusset and a back sleeve here, a main compartment with a bit of organization, including a back tech sleeve, a zippered hidden back pocket, and a really nice strap that may have missed the mark a little bit, at least in compared to other Bellroy slings. I'll talk about that in a bit more detail 2 sections from now. The Transit Sling currently comes in 3 color options. Let's discuss dimensions. We've got a width of just under 11 inches and a height of just over 7 inches. For the shoulder strap, let's see what your maximum length is. Hold her steady, Tav. All right, we got around 49 inches of shoulder strap. Nylon webbing. Now Bellroy claims this bad boy is 5 liters in volume, which we are going to test. All right, you can see right here we got the main compartment and the front compartment filled up with our volume measuring balls to pretty full capacity. Oof, yeah, as we've come to see from Bellroy for certain bags, the volume is coming in significantly under. As to where I'm getting just over 2 liters. Now, volume measurement is a bit more of an art than it is a science, and to learn more about that and why Bellroy's system might differ from ours, you can just go ahead and watch the video linked above where we measured some of the world's most popular slings and saw a lot of discrepancies. It's a very controversial topic in our industry right now. This is the Bellroy Transit Sling when it's empty, and this is the sling when it's fully packed out and worn on me. For reference, I'm 5'8". And don't worry, we're gonna pack out the sling throughout the entire review so you can see exactly what it fits. Bellroy bags are covered by a 6-year warranty, and for all that, this sling runs around 100 USD. Now, before we jump into the meat and potatoes, I gotta let you know that if at any point during this review, you're just digging this sling and you're thinking about making a purchase or you wanna find out more information, we do recommend doing so using the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes. But that link also helps support the Nomadization YouTube channel and team so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. Okay, let's talk about the outside of the Bellroy Transit Sling 5-liter. We kick off these sections by always talking about the aesthetic. And if there's one thing that Bellroy just knocks out of the park, it's their aesthetic. This sling is clean, it's got a beautiful front panel, there's not a lot of zippers going on, there's not a lot of features, so it's definitely a sling that in my opinion is just gonna look nice no matter the occasion. And one thing that contributes to that is the primary fabric, which Bellroy never specifies. They just kind of say hey, this is one of our materials, here's a link about our materials, and it sends you to an overall materials page, and they never say which materials are used on which specific bag. But this is like a 400D nylon, somewhere in that range where it feels quite robust, and it'll have some decent weather resistance, and it really gives the bag a nice aesthetic is where it has a little bit of sheen. You see that shine right there? It's not too loud or in your face or gonna attract too much attention, but again, it still contributes to an overall pleasant aesthetic. Bellroy's branding, fake leather tab right here. Are you fake? It's definitely fake. Yeah, Bellroy hasn't used real leather, I don't think, for a while, which means that this branding and the fake leather zipper pullers might have some peelage or delamination over time. But one cool thing about this bad boy right here is it is in fact a lash point as well. So it serves the branding purposes, but also you can clip things externally onto your sling if you so wish. Now we're gonna talk about all the internal sections in the next chapter of the video. And we're gonna talk about the shoulder strap right now. Now, Bellroy has made a lot of slings. This entire bucket, I got 2 buckets just filled with Bellroy slings. And one thing they've always been so good at is innovating with their shoulder straps with their slings. So for instance, you can see on these 2 guys right here, their Venture 9-liter and their Venture Ready 2.5-liter, and both utilize a really nifty shoulder strap design. And these shoulder strap designs give the bag a lot of movement. So when you're wearing it, it flows with your body just magically. And it also offers a bit of compression, not a lot, but enough as to where if this bag is fully packed out, it sort of just like brings it in a little bit. This is one of my favorite innovations that I've ever seen on a sling, and it's one of the reasons that these two Venture slings, especially the Venture Ready 2.5, which is more like 1 liter, not 2.5 liters, but different conversation. But it's one of the biggest reasons why this has become like a cult classic and has always been one of my favorite slings of all time. And unfortunately, Bellroy did not carry this shoulder strap design over into the Transit sling. Sad face. Granted, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's still a very comfortable sling. Slings are rarely uncomfortable. All you want from a sling, like a good chest bag, is just to fit on your torso, right? A lot of slings have very poor strap management designs where it ends up leaving like a big gap, like right here, and I'm doing that. But this is still very well designed as to where it fits in the chest nicely, and we're still getting a lot of movement from the nylon webbing to fit your torso. One thing on the pro side I will say though is as to where that strap management system was very good for chest and back mode. It wasn't as great for like side carry mode, but this harness system design actually allows it to go into side mode very well as well. So you kind of win some and lose some. Love the nylon webbing that's being used. It's so silky smooth, and it's just one of those nice touch points. But when you're spending $100 on a sling, you want the materials and the fabrics to give you a little bit of joy. And that's one of the things that Bellroy does better than others. They're not always the most functional or technical, but they know how to give like a warmth to their products that very few manufacturers can imitate. The hardware on the sling is metal, which has a pro and a con. On the pro side, it feels a bit more premium, which is more in line with the price point. But on the con side, it does make this part of the sling feel just a little bit more bulky. But overall, I do like the choice. But one thing a lot of people are not going to like the choice of is the fact that this shoulder strap does not detach. It's a sling, and a sling only, which for me, as a reviewer, I gotta say I'm kind of a big fan of. Because Bellroy said, screw one product trying to be two things, because that always leads to compromises to accomplish that. But while that's true, a lot of people out there really like their slings to have detachable straps because then it can double as a pouch. For instance, we just reviewed the Peak Design Outdoor Sling 4 liter, and you can see the shoulder strap completely removes, and then this could become a tech pouch, DOP kit, a packing cube, but not with the Transit Sling 2 liter.
5 liter.
I mean 5 liter. Thanks, Steph. Let me know, is that a deal breaker for you? Do you really wish this shoulder strap could detach, or do you not care? I wanna hear what you think in the comments below. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the inside of the Bellroy Transit Sling 5 liter. Notice the front compartment and the main compartment accessible by PU coated zippers. PU equals polyurethane. Polyurethane equals a plastic. And this plastic is great for keeping rain out. So these zippers will make your bag slightly more weather resistant, but on the negative side, they can be a little bit more difficult to open and to close, especially Bellroy's. These are definitely stickier PU coated zippers. And the PU coating can peel over time looking like this, which won't always mess with the functionality, but can mess with the aesthetic. But on the good side, these zippers are indeed YKK, best zippers in the game. And let's talk about this front section, which I really like. This is taking design cues from their Venture Ready Sling 2.5 liter, which has the same sort of front pocket with the gusset, and then adding this little sleeve right here. And then in the main compartment, we have a mesh zippered pocket right here. And then the tech sleeve that also has a hidden zipper pocket behind it that is apparently RFID protected. That is a new Bellroy thing. Very cool. Let's pack it out to get an idea of how it all works. All right, you can see here I got a bunch of EDC stuff. Let's start with the big stuff. Actually, it's always good to get an idea of a water bottle. Here's a 24-ounce Columbia, which is your average water bottle size. You can see we are able to get this into the main compartment, but definitely not gonna happen with our 1 liter Yeti. It's a pretty tight squeeze with the North Face, and this water bottle is around 8 inches tall and a width of around 3¼ inches. Starting with the back, always the perfect spot for your wallets, or if you're traveling with this bad boy, ideal for passport and or boarding pass. Great location for that because it's pressed against your chest or your back, and it's just a safer location. And it's really just like a flat pocket, so you're not gonna fit something bulkier in there. It's perfect for your wallet. Nice. Now moving on to the main compartment, I've got a notebook right here, which corner to corner measures in just at 10 inches. And it's a great fit to slide right in there. So if you have a notebook or a tablet that's around the same size, you can see it does fit very snug. But here you can see I got an 11.5 iPad, and this is definitely not fitting. But behind it is where the RFID protected pocket is. Now here's the thing with RFID protection, it's a little controversial. Some people say it's awesome and required in the 21st century where your digital information is more vulnerable than ever. And some people say it's complete and utter and that something like this doesn't actually protect it because the RFID is still like seeping through the seams. I'm not gonna claim to be an expert on the topic. Tav, what do you think?
I don't think anyone goes around stealing RFID information.
That's even a better argument, is that nobody's sitting in airports these days with like radars and like beep, 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 beep. They're typically doing these things on the dark web, but in case that is something that is important to you, you like the peace of mind, we have the pocket here. And like I said, I've never seen Bellroy do a pocket like this. It's sort of like a pocket within a pocket. It's again, very thin. It's not meant for bulkier items. The RFID protection indicates it's ideal for a passport or backup credit cards, or maybe even cash. But if you want to use it for other things, I think it's a good spot for a couple pens. You can even throw a small battery in there. It's multi-purpose. It's not just for your passport. One thing to note is the accessibility of this sling it's a little limited. I think that I much would have preferred the zippers to come down a bit further, which I know is always easier said than done. It depends on the design and the panels, but you know, as I'm really trying to get in there, it's just a little bit of a tighter opening. Swinging over to the other side, we have this zippered pocket, which like I said, utilizes a beautiful, gorgeous, elasticy power mesh. I'm a sucker for power mesh. I just think it feels great, it looks great, and it has some expansion to it, as to where you can fit something smaller, like your AirPods in there if you want. But also you could even throw, I think, yeah, big old hard shell glasses. Yep. So you can see that's expanding to accommodate that. But one thing to note about power mesh is that if you do expand it too much, it's never gonna go back. So for that reason, it's a good spot for your glasses without the case. Right there, nice and safe, perfect. The main compartment, good spot for a portable charger. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some meds in there. It should be noted, not a lot of pockets on this sling. All right, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's really not a lot of organization. I don't know, actually. Once you get into the front, it opens things up a little bit. Before we do, let's see if the Sony XMH5s can fit in the main compartment. Ooh, and we're absolutely gonna just barely fit them in. That is very nice. So in the main compartment, I got my notebook, headphones, glasses, a couple smaller things. Let's test out the front. This little slot pocket right there could be a good spot for some meds. I'm gonna go ahead and throw my gum here as well. These pockets are well designed as where they do have a bit of volume. Not a ton. You're not gonna fit something super bulky in there, especially not when the sling is fully packed out. But this charger right here, I think we can get that in there. Yeah, for sure. On this pocket here, we also have a key leash. Pretty basic, not detachable, unfortunately. Toss your keys, Tav. Gonna go ahead and clip these on. Do you have enough keys?
I have too much access.
Too much access, dude. I don't know if we're gonna fit Tav's keys in. Yeah, all right, we're gonna squeeze them in. All right, very nice. A couple more notes. Notice that we only have 2 zippers. Well, 3, which means that each compartment only has a single zipper to access. Which again, pulling out the Peak design from before is typically, well, it's common for a front pocket, but usually a main compartment's gonna have double zipper access. Just kind of gives you a bit more versatility for opening and closing, but Bellroy said, nah, we're keeping it minimalist. On the pro side, it's 1 less zipper that's possible to break. On the con side though, it doesn't give you as much versatility. And some people are very particular about how you like to open your slings, whether you're a lefty and you like to go this way or a righty that way. But because of this design, you gotta go right hand open like that. Finally, we have this guy right here, which is an interesting little design choice, and I kind of like it aesthetically. It sort of gives us something like semi-tactical, like there's like this little lash point. And it serves some function as well, because as a lash point, you can clip things onto it, so you can hold your glasses on the outside of a sling. But also, I think we can count that. It's a little bit of a security measure as to where you can put the zipper under here. You just have a little bit of extra security. For any adventurous fingers that are curious about how easy that sling might be to open, you can tell them a little bit harder than you think, bro. But it should be noted that does not extend to the front compartment zipper. One last note on the overall comfort. A sling this size at 2 liters, it is like a 2-liter sling, it's never gonna be uncomfortable. The shoulder strap feels nice on the front or the back. Like I said, guys, let's not overcomplicate it. It's a small sling. And like with most Bellroy slings, it looks pretty freaking good. How'd it look, Tav? He just winked at me. And I gotta tell you, if you're really digging this deep dive, this ultra nerdy bag review, then you might be smitten to find out that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do reviews on our YouTube channel, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that newsletter, you can look at me like your reporter in the fields, where I'm bringing you everything that's happening in this incredible industry directly to your inbox. So if you want to keep your finger on the pulse of the newest drops, limited edition collabs, plus get access to our exclusive community discount codes and giveaways, then you're gonna want to look for this globe emoji in the description below. I hope to see you in your inbox. Let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the Bellroy Transit 5-liter sling. Pro number 1 is going to be the super gorgeous aesthetic. Pro number 2 is going to be that very well thought out front compartment. And pro number 3 is going to be Bellroy's signature blend of just premium materials and fabrics. But on the flip side, let's talk about the cons. Con number 1, coming in significantly less in the volume department than advertised. It's closer to 2 liters than it is to 5 liters. Con number 2 is the lack of a detachable shoulder strap will be a deal breaker for a lot of people. And con number 3, same thing with the single zipper opening to the main compartment. But there's a good chance that if you're still watching this review, you might be thinking to yourself, Aaron, I see no cons with this sling, only pros. It's freaking beautiful and I'm totally picking one up. And you're gonna make a purchase or you wanna find out more information, just a reminder, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description. That just makes sure that you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, I got some alternatives. Let's talk about them. First up, if you're new to the channel, I implore you to check out our Nomads Nation leaderboard rankings. This is where me and the Nomads Nation team, we all get together and we pick our favorite bags in distinct bag categories. And this is the best way to get an idea of what the best options are on the market. But if we're pretty close with a Transit Sling 5/2 liter, let me give you 2 specific alternatives. Alternative suggestion number 1 is going to be the Bellroy Venture 9 liter sling. Great pick for you if you're really digging Bellroy, but you wish that this thing was actually 5 liters and you wish the shoulder strap could detach. That's what the Venture 9 liter does, because although it's 9, it's actually closer to 5 liters. And the shoulder strap does detach, so you're getting the best of all worlds. And it's also just a killer sling. And alternative suggestion number 2 is going to be the Aer Day Sling 3. This is a great pick for you if you're really looking for an urban sling, but you kind of wish that this had more features and more pockets. Aer and Bellroy are contemporaries in a lot of ways, but they do things a little bit differently. And Aer's just gonna give you a bit more organization, just an overall kind of different execution. Honestly, all these slings are great, but they all have their unique cons as well. And to learn more about the 2 alternatives, just go ahead and watch these videos right here. I'm gonna leave those videos up on the screen for a second. So in the meantime, if you got any questions, the best place to ask them is in the comments below or in the Nomads Nation subreddit. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron, this is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you guys next time.